If you're thinking about hiring a private investigator in the UK, maybe just hold off until you've watched this video, as I'm going to explain the most common scams members of the public can face when hiring a private investigator and how to avoid them. Hi, my name's Gillespie and welcome to my YouTube channel, where I discuss all things relating to investigation and true crime analysis. This video is part of a series which is aimed at helping members of the public who are thinking of using the services of a private investigator by explaining everything they need to know. So what are the most common scams that people may face when hiring rogue investigators? Number 1, blackmail. It probably sounds like an extreme claim, but it's absolutely true. The most likely scam that members of the public may face when hiring private investigators is blackmail. Because the UK investigation industry is unregulated and unlicensed, anyone can advertise their services as a private investigator, and they do. This means that unwitting members of the public are handing over information which can be highly sensitive, as well as their personal details, to someone who, in essence, is a random member of the public. There have been many instances where the alleged investigator, once they're in possession of this sensitive information, has turned to the client and said, "How much is it worth for me not to approach the subject of your investigation?" Sadly, this occurrence and variations of it are commonplace. 2, not doing the work. Although upfront payment isn't always a red flag or something to be concerned of, there are cases of dodgy investigators asking for payment in advance and then just not doing the work. So if you're asked to make payment upfront, make sure that you're not unwittingly setting yourself up for a problem further down the line. You need to have the case details in writing, along with the relative payment terms and conditions before you hand over any money. Just very quickly, if you're interested in investigation and true crime analysis, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd also be really interested to hear your thoughts about this content, along with any questions or ideas you may have for future videos. So please feel free to leave a comment. Now, back to the video. 3, being led on. Investigations can always turn up unexpected results, often meaning that more or perhaps a different type of work is then required. But when this occurs, the investigator should be able to validate the steps they've taken, as well as their decisions and actions along the way, to justify why further work may be necessary. If an investigator is asking for more payment, but not able to explain or clearly demonstrate why, then you need to be very wary. It's a classic scam that's used in other industries, for example by cowboy builders and similar tradesmen, where customers are required to pay more and more despite the work not being done properly. So now we've gone through the most common scams used by rogue investigators. It begs the question how people can avoid becoming a victim of such behaviour, and what they can do to ensure that they're working with a legitimate professional. Well, in all honesty, it really comes down to what you do before you make any formal instructions. In my opinion, it's about conducting the right type and amount of due diligence, as well as checking for certain red flags and ensuring that you're protected from the outset, which will reduce the likelihood of being scammed. To view my top tips on how to instruct a private investigator, have a look at the other videos in this series, which I've created to help safeguard the public against rogue investigators. In particular, have a look at the video entitled "How to Instruct a Private Investigator," where I go through all the things you need to look out for. Also, if you want to speak to me regarding a potential case, you can contact me, which is of course completely confidential, via my website, the link of which you'll find in the description box below. As always, thanks for watching.